Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to everybody. Hope everybody had a safe Labor Day weekend. Hope y'all didn't eat too much barbecue, too much pork. Hope everybody's doing fine this beautiful night. Come on in, hit that like button. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. I see what we got in here so far. We got about 25 people in here so far. We got about 17 likes. All right, so go ahead and hit that like button. Shout out to Mark Brown, Kevin Birch. Shout out to SD Walk. I see Cleveland in the building. You are doing a great job. Appreciate it. Shout out to Lakeisha Griffin. Shout out to everybody that's watching on Facebook as well as YouTube. What time of days do you come live? Because I keep missing you live. So, uh, you know what? We do a show every Wednesday, every Thursday, and I do pop-ups at least once a month. So this is my once a month pop-up, my free Q&A, free coaching pop-up that I usually do once a month. So here it is. I try to do it, catch people off guard on days where I expect a lot of people ain't gonna come in. And normally it's the opposite. So, but today is the day. Um, So, you gotta catch me. You gotta make sure you got your notifications on. You got that bell click so you can catch me. You get that notification when I go live. But appreciate you for tuning in. You called me today, so appreciate you for tuning in. Big Hearn, what's up? Interstate Screw, what's going on? Detroit in the building. Sly Frog says, enjoy the coaching session Sunday morning, Johnny. Okay, yeah, shout out to you and your partner. Appreciate you for checking in. Uh, appreciate that y'all reaching out to me for that coaching session yesterday. Hope to hear from y'all again in the near future. Interstate Screw says he passed his year audit. Everybody, let's get this money. Shout out to Interstate Screw. He passed his yearly audit. Back at it. Peace and blessings, Mars. Shout out to Back at it. What up? What up? Shout out to Davion Brown. Shout out to Neville Ben Short. Damn, the last intro, I love it. Appreciate that. Athens, Georgia in the building. BK in the building. Shout out to New York. All right, so Q&A, free coaching, free Q&A. So I don't have really nothing too much to talk about. Just my monthly pop-up Q&A for people who been looking to catch me, like Miss Lakeisha. So now you got me. So I'm just gonna sit here and look at y'all until y'all start asking me the questions that y'all need help with, or whatever coaching advice you need, because I do it once a month, and here's my one a month. So let's get to it. I am gonna set a timer because I'm not gonna be on here all night. So I'm gonna set a timer for. Let's see. Let's set a timer real quick. Let me set a timer real quick. Let's set a timer. You know what? I don't want to do that timer. Let's set it for. Let's set it for an hour and 15 minutes. All right, there you go. All right, I got the timer set. So let's get it going. Any questions? Let me know what's on your mind. You need coaching. You got box truck questions. Now it's the time to answer them. Or now it's the time to ask them. What's the best way to enter into the space with a 16-foot truck? I say focus on small parcel stuff. Uh, uh, I would go see what T Force has, Capstone, depending on what market you're in. Watco, depending on what market you're in. If you're looking to do final mile delivery, if you're willing to do something a little bit more uh, labor intensive, and you got a partner, you can start doing small moving jobs. You can use Thumbtack. I'm going to do a training class with Thumbtack. You could use Thumbtack, and you can start do a small off the ground moving service where you can do up to 1 bedroom moves. Yeah, so those are pretty much the two options that you have for a 16-foot box truck, either small parcel, office supply stuff, um, or like a small moving company. OTR really isn't good for a 16-foot box truck. I know there was a guy running around on the internet last year, the year before last, that was saying a lot of things. They had a lot of people with 16-foot box truck, you know, tweaking out, thinking they could make 10 grand in a 16-foot box truck running OTR. But like everyone else, that guy's no longer here, and that was a lot of misinformation. So I think if you follow the blueprint that I just gave you for a 16-foot box truck, you'll be fine. You can make a lot of money with a 16-foot box truck moving up to a 1 bedroom. Depending on the market you're in. When I first started, the first box truck I rented many many moons ago was a 16-footer, and I was clocking $1,000 a day, easy. So you can definitely make money with a 16-foot box truck. Mark, my guy's messing up. I moved them from Macy's Furniture to Lowe's Appliances, and they got water spewing. Yeah, man, that seems to be the case with a lot of subs that I got that do big and bulky. I had a coaching session this morning with a guy who's done a few coaching sessions with me, and he just had a $5,000 claim for water. You know what I'm saying? With those water, when you're doing hookups for washers and dryers, um, or you're doing refrigerator hookups, you just got to make sure that you got your guys trained efficiently. Training is key. It's key. It's key. It's key. I can't say it enough. You got to make sure that your guys are competent, and you have to make sure that they're trained efficiently. Um, because if they're not, ultimately those claims are going to fall on you, and you won't be able to hold anybody accountable if you haven't trained them on the proper way to do things. Um, it's an unfortunate situation when people get claims, but it's a part of the business. And I've always said that claims are part of the business when find them out, and that's why I also reiterate why training is so important. You can make a lot of money and find them out big and bulky, but you got to make sure your guys are trained and they're competent. Some of these claims are false claims, but you also have to have your checks and balances in order so that when you do get hit with a claim and you dispute it, you have the evidence that you need to ultimately fight the claim so that it can go in your favor if it's a false claim that's put on top of you. Now, if there's water spewing from a wash machine hookup, or for a let's say a refrigerator copper line hookup, 9 times out of 10, maybe the installer that works for you, or works for whoever in general, might have hooked something up wrong. But then there's chances that customers move stuff and reconfigure stuff, and they don't do it right, and then ultimately the blame is really theirs. But then they had a recent delivery, and they ultimately put it on the contractor, and there's just no way to determine if, once you leave, if the hookup has been tampered with from the homeowner. It's just there's just no way to prove it. So you just have to make sure you have your checks and balances in order. What I would recommend people start to do, if you haven't been doing it already, take pictures of your work after it's done. Also, if you want to go as far as when the hookup is being done, have the other person take a short video of the hookup showing the person tightening up the line if it's a refrigerator, and tightening up the hot and cold water hoses when they're hooking up the washer and dryer, and store these in the cloud. Make sure you label them, day and date, uh, customer's name, so you have some type of evidence, because claims are starting to get out of control. I talk to a lot of logistics companies often, as far as like the execs, and claims are just up all across the board. A lot of it's due to incompetency from the contractors behalf. Unfortunately, just what's being offered to business owners now as far as talent is just not as good as it was 10 years ago. Talent that would necessarily, let's say, work for me 10, 15 years ago, I wouldn't be able to find or source that talent today. There's just a lot of lack of integrity that's going on right now amongst people in the work field. And it's just the honest to God truth. I tell people this all the time. I'm gonna always keep it funky with you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. So, but because of that, you know, um, that's one issue. But then you have fraud on the other side. Customers tamper with stuff and then they'll put it on you. So you got to make sure now it's the time that I think you need to go super above and beyond to make sure that you CYA cover your ass, because it's I would say 90% of the claims that are given to contractors are valid, meaning the contractor was faulty. But 10% of that is from customers touching and messing with stuff after they leave. You may be falling that 10%, but if you don't have anything to prove that it was hooked up right, pictures, videos, then that's a claim that you're ultimately not probably going to win. So I think now is the time to go above and beyond and start taking video footage of the hookup when you do it, and then just start storing that stuff. You're going to need cloud based because it's going to take up a lot of space, especially if you're running final mile on a daily basis and you're running multiple trucks. That could be anywhere from 10 to 15 stops a day. So if it's a hookup, I would take video of it just to see why, man. So hopefully that works out uh, for you in the future. Hopefully the claim ain't too bad. You said the claims are killing your profit. Yeah, if you don't mind telling me what the claims are looking like, how much, hit that like button too, y'all. We got 40 in here so far, 28 likes. Let's get those likes up. Do you know who might have the final amount accounts with Mattress Firm? I know at one time a company called HomeLink had it. There's a few different companies that got it. HomeLink has it in some markets. Cardinal has it in some markets. Um, those are the two companies that I know has it. I know Cardinal has it on a 7-day a week contract in some markets. So I don't know what markets you're in, but if you want to contact John over at Cardinal, I actually got his number in one of my. Let me see which markets they're in. Why don't you go look at that Cardinal video that I did about a month ago? And there's the execs for Cardinal Logistics number is in that video. His name is John. They have U.S. Mattress. Why don't you go look at that video, get his number, and then contact him and see if they have any mattress firm opportunities in your market. What's the best way to acquire contracts locally for final mile? My market is smaller, 10 to 15 stocks, $45 a stock. Should I move to a larger market? What's the best way to acquire contracts locally for final mile? The best way to acquire them is to just apply with the logistics company. My market is smaller, 10 to 15 stocks, $45 a stop. Should I move to a larger market? What market are you in? $45 a stop is kind of on the lower side. What market are you in? I mean, you're gonna always come out better going to a bigger market. You know what I'm saying? As far as you know, the density is concerned, and as far as the rate is concerned, you'll probably be able to operate in a higher density area and ultimately make more money while saving more money because your route will be a lot more dense. Um, so going to a larger market won't hurt you at all. So how do we sign up for coaching sessions? Simple. You go to my website, which is www.boxtruckcourses.com, which is actually, I got the shirt on today. www.boxtruckcourses.com. As you can see on my shirt, or you can just go to that banner that you see right here, www.boxtruckcourses.com. And you can sign up for coaching sessions there. Avion says he deducts claims for their weekly pay. You should, but make sure that you have your checks and balances in order when you're deducting money from your workers. You need to have an employee handbook that states that, if any claims arise due to their negligence, it is going to, ultimately come out of their pay. You don't want to turn around and get sued. So make sure you have this written and make sure they sign off on it. You can use there's apps that you can use. I'm gonna be very careful, guys, going forward on what I talk about on the channel. You know what I'm saying? Because people have been ripping me off. Content creators, and it's been brought to my attention, and like in their coaching and their mentorships, they've been taking my information and kind of using what I say, watching me, and then using it. And then where they mess up at is because they're taking my information, but they really don't have the knowledge to really expound on it, is where people are getting, because they're bringing it back to me. So I have to be really careful on, what I say on these live streams and like different gems and information that I give out going forward, because, my years are my years. And, I went through a lot of years to be able to, be this, you know, knowledgeable in this area, and also my education, costs a lot of money. So, I don't mind giving the information out to people who need it. But what I don't like is when other people rip me off and they try to capitalize monetarily from the information that I've been able to gather due to tenure and education. So if I'm giving it to somebody who needs it so that they can ultimately, become successful, I don't mind doing that. What I don't like is people ripping me off so they can take it, repackage it, and ultimately try to sell my information. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit that made me go upside somebody's head. So, I'm just gonna be real careful how, you know, present stuff, because I don't want to give too much information away where other people can take it ultimately to benefit, eh, monetarily, and it's just not fair. So there is something that I can point you in the direction as far as putting together contracts so that you can make sure that you have contracts in the cloud, and that you guys can, DocuSign and e-sign them. It is based on a subscription based model. But if you're running a business, especially final mile, there is a lot of paperwork that you're going to need, contracts, non-competes, uh, uh, waivers that you're going to have need for your customers to sign off on, as well as your employees. So you should get with me at some time, and I can point you in the right direction. I'm not going to get that information out right now. Let's see what else. Jones Agency, Symmetry Financial Group. What company should I look at with a 26-foot box truck for curbside one man? Will the prices be set, or will it be negotiable? Thanks you very much. Appreciate it. There's a few companies you can look at. Same companies that I talk about. T-Force, Capstone, R&L Carriers, US Pack, uh, American Expediting. Uh, those are the ones I would start with for curbside final mile delivery. I think Fidelitone has some curbside options in some markets as well. But the main ones that I gave, T-Force, R&L Carriers, Capstone, US Pack, American Expediting, are the ones that you probably want to look into. Not too many opportunities like T-Force in my market, just R&L and a few lows. Contract paying $4,000 a week, 7 days a week. Contract requires helper. Is this a good market? I need more. What market are you in? Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? Not many opportunities like T-Force. So if you're in a small market, there may not be that much curbside opportunities in your market. You know what I'm saying? So if big and bulky is what, is in your market, then unfortunately that's what you have to go with, So when you do your business plan, you do your market analysis, doing your market analysis to determine you know, what's your best option in your market. The thing about trucking and your geographical location, not everybody is going to be in Chicago. Not everybody is going to be in New York. Not everybody is going to be in LA. It's a blessing to be in Chicago, be in Chicago if you're in trucking, because this is one of the freight capital, if not the freight capital, in multiple modes. But then again, you may not want to live here because of the cost of living, the crime, things of that nature. But if you're in trucking, then you can't lose in this market. For the most part, not everybody is that fortunate. Not everybody lives in a trucking market. So, depending on your market, you got to do a market analysis to determine what's in your area, what's the best in your area, and kind of go from there. Where are you located? Good evening, Mr. Mark. As much as I wanted a box truck, I have to buy a cargo van. Do you think T-Force and Capstone Logistics can work with the car? Yeah, T-Force got Office Depot. Capstone has a few different options for a cargo van. Waco has options for a cargo van. So yeah, there's options out there. There's more options right now, believe it or not. I was going through this earlier for a cargo van than there are for box trucks. There's a lot more opportunities right now for cargo vans than there are for 26-foot box trucks. Um, and that's just something dealing with the economy. I've been wanting to talk about it, but I'm probably just going to start doing series of. I'm gonna still do my public live streams, but I'm also do members only live streams where I'm going to be doing more economy based peak season. I'm not, because here's the thing with the peak season. I told everybody what it was going to be last year. Nobody believed me, and I'm gonna keep flexing my muscles on that. I'm gonna keep rubbing that into people's faces. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm not going to do this year is because last year, I get it. I was incredible. I was just like the rest of these guys. I was put in a box with the rest of these content creators. A lot of people were defrauded. A lot of people were led astray. A lot of people were sold a lot of misinformation. So me coming in last year on YouTube, I understand why the consumer put me in a box with everybody else. But now, since I've been on here a year and a half, you guys know who I am. I showed and proved myself. You guys know that I'm very knowledgeable on the space. You guys know my background, my educational background in business. You know my background as far as this trucking industry and how it sets me apart from other content creators as far as information and value of content due to my experience and due to my educational background. Now when I say something, you're going to take heed to it. But and I have no problem with that. But I can't, and other content creators know that as well, so they watch me. So what I'm not going to do this year, since people are looking to me to forecast this information for peak season, I'm not going to give my information away for other people to run with it and sell it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're smart. I'm not going to do that. So what we're going to do is and this ain't me being cocky, this is just me being honest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to, I'm not going to, how do I want to say this? I'm not going to make my information accessible, because that's my competitive advantage. That's my competitive advantage. I'm not going to give my competitive advantage away for other people to use it, for their benefit. So what I'm going to do is economical, going in this peak season, all that peak season content, my peak season live streams are going to be done members only live streams. That's how I'm going to do it. If my other people want to become a member, then they're going to have to pay to steal it, to go resell it or go coach people. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I'm going to go with the peak season information going into the holiday season. So yeah. Um, what's up, Bill Bob? What up? What up? What up? here in Houston, Birmingham. Shout out to Birmingham. Shout out to everybody that's watching on Facebook. What's the best ideas for cargo van in NYC? You're in NYC, so it's a lot of opportunity for a cargo van in NYC. There's a lot of small parcel packages. You're in a city with 9 million people. 9 million people. So, you can close your eyes spinning 360 degrees and there's opportunity. 9 million people across all the boroughs. 9 million people. So there's opportunity there. There's plenty of opportunity, especially for small parcel. So I would go to T-Force, I would go Waco, Capstone, and tell them, you got a van, put me to work. And they're going to put you to work. Your van is going to be packed from top to bottom, front to back every day. So I would focus on small parcel, dedicated opportunities in New York City. T-Force, Waco, Capstone. With it getting harder and harder to find good help, can you still be profitable running a one-man truck doing final mile curbside? Yeah, you could be profitable because it's just you. And a lot of those curbside final mile routes pay similar to what a big and bulky route pays. The problem is they're not plentiful. And as freight continues to dry up, those opportunities become less plentiful. That's why earlier this year and last year, and this is me, it's me flexing again. You can go watch my content, and I specifically said, get these curbside routes now. I said this, and people that have been following me for a while, you can attest. I said, look, you want to sign up for these contracts, these curbside contracts. Now, the economy isn't going to get better. It's going to get worse before it gets better. These contracts, these curbside final mile contracts aren't plentiful as big and bulky. All right, sign up for them now so you can get in the door, because as freight continues to dry up, these opportunities are going to be less available. I said that earlier this year. I said it late last year. And now we're at a point where things are really drying up. Things are really drying up. So, can you be profitable? Yeah, you can definitely be profitable. I know people that are making upwards of $1,000 a day running curbside final mile. But these are the people that got in earlier in the year when I told them to. These are the people that came off of the road. They listened to what I had to say, and they did it. So they're already in position now. And now that OTR is further just drying up, rates are, not doing as well, opportunities, because freight is just not plentiful, people are looking to transition, but the people who pivoted early are already in position, and the opportunities are just not as available as they once were earlier in the year. But it's definitely profitable. You just have to find an opportunity. There's always going to be opportunity with big and bulky, but that's because of the scope of the work. Very labor intensive, and we're just in a new, climate of how people look at work. New generation, totally different generation from 10, 15 years ago. They don't want to do nothing. And I'm not talking about, this ain't even got nothing to do with ethnicity, just that the whole generation just don't want to do nothing, especially if it comes to something that's really labor intensive, because there's just plenty of other opportunities for them to make money without doing stuff that is so labor intensive. So those opportunities are going to always be plentiful and available, but curbside is not, because of what I'm saying right now. So if you find something that's good, you need to jump on it. I think me and my cargo van hit the revenue ceiling for my market. Last avenue is dispatch reason. It's my off day business. Say you think you hit the ceiling? What's the ceiling? Where you think you at with it? Shout out to Star Cargo LLC in the building. Appreciate you for tuning in. Shout out to Mike G. I'm in and out of Chi-Town at least 3 times a week. One of these days I'm going to hit you up while I'm in town. Yeah, hit me up. Grab lunch or something. Shout out to Mike G, best channel hands down. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, checking me out whenever they get that notification. So I'm looking for funding to get box truck. I guess have some money in the bank. I am looking for funding to get a box truck. Have some money in the bank. All right. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Uh, Torin, you said you hit the ceiling 169 a day gross per truck is the ceiling for your market. What market are you in? Cargo van, you should be doing. Well, that depends on market. You want to kind of be at the $300 range. 169. What market are you in? What's your view on the state of the economy considering rising inflation and people being forced to spend less money? Uh, will there be a peak season household savings? I'm not going to answer any peak season questions on public platforms this holiday season. So all my peak season information is going to be done on uh, members only. Members only live streams. I got a few members only live streams coming up. I actually got one coming up this week. I'm just waiting on the artwork to be finished for it, and then once the artwork is finished, I'm gonna do that. So if you're not a member, and I'm not forcing you to be a member, you guys know how I am. You know, it is what it is. I don't force people to do anything, but I do have to protect my brand. Um, and I've been on for a year and a half. I've given so much great information, even right now. You know what I'm saying? But it just comes a time where you got to protect your brand. So I'm not going to give any peak season, forecast because everybody's waiting for it. Everybody wants to hear what I have to say, but I'm only going to do it on members only. I'm gonna do it on members only, so it's not gonna be public. So I can't answer that question. Uh, what's my view on the state of the economy? The state of the economy is rough. It's obvious it's rough. If you're in trucking and you're really in trucking, people that are really in trucking that, pay attention to the trends, they'll tell you freight is down. It's down, 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 down. All right. And that's because people aren't spending. I did a market analysis um Saturday. I was on Michigan Avenue, which is like Fifth Avenue in New York, which is like Rodeo Drive in LA. So I was on Michigan Avenue Saturday, doing little shopping. A lot of people on Michigan Avenue. Michigan Avenue is not going down on Michigan Avenue is not like going on Michigan Avenue 10 years ago, even 7 or 8 years ago. All right. You went on Michigan Avenue, you went to shop. So you go on Michigan Avenue, you see people with bags because people go to Michigan Avenue to shop. I was on Michigan Avenue Saturday. There's thousands of people up and down Michigan Avenue taking pictures, doing everything but shopping. Me, as a businessman, I'm looking at this. I'm looking to see if people are spending money. No one had bags. All these people up and down Michigan Avenue, no one had bags. Literally, probably, and I'm not exaggerating, maybe every 150th person I walked past might have had a bag. But for the most part, on this strip of blocks of shopping, no one had bags. People aren't spending money. I tell you where people are spending money at. People are spending money on experiences. Service industries are doing good. The good industries that are doing well right now are good industries that support experience-based service business. For instance, cosmetics. Cosmetics are up right now. Why are cosmetics up? Because women like to look nice, put makeup on, smell good when they go out to fancy dinners or when they go out to nightclubs or when they take trips. Experience-based services are where people are spending the money. Services are making a lot more money than goods, and it should be the other way around. Goods should always top services as far as the dollar spent. But right now it's the other way around. All right. The goods that are being sold are goods that support experience-based spending, cosmetics. Like I said, women want to look good to go out to these fancy dinners. You call any restaurant or you go to any restaurant, there may be a 2 hour wait if you don't have a reservation. If you go on Open Table to book a reservation, I'm going on a date tomorrow night. I'm trying to book a reservation for a restaurant. No reservations. For the particular restaurant we wanted to go to tomorrow, we couldn't get a reservation on a Tuesday. So people are spending money. They're just not spending it on goods. And ultimately, if you have a truck, you are a service-based business that is moving goods. You need goods, to make money. And just people aren't spending money in that aspect. You got this whole thing that's going on TikTok where people are, that's the new challenge on TikTok, the how broke you are challenge or whatever. What is that challenge called? Every time I try to find this challenge, I pops up on my uh feed on YouTube, but then when I try to pull it up, uh I don't see anything. But anyway, yeah, so that's the whole thing. I think a lot of Generation Z that do have jobs, they are working, but here's another trend that's going on that I saw. A lot of boomers and Generation X parents, so people my age, a little older, going into, boomers, they're supporting their late millennial kids and their early Generation Z children. They're supporting their living. So a lot of retired boomers, a lot of retired Generation X, are supporting the living expenses of their late millennial, early Generation Z children. Meaning, uh, Generation Z graduates college, they get a job. Generation Z wants to live, work, and play in the same area. So we'll use my city for instance. You work downtown Chicago, you want to live downtown Chicago, you want to play downtown Chicago. The thing is, to live downtown Chicago is expensive, right? It's expensive. What they're making, they're living, what they're making on their job won't support the cost to live where in the areas that they want to live in. Generation Z doesn't want to live outside of the area they're working. So if they have a corporate job, let's say downtown Chicago in the Citadel building or one of these high-rise buildings, on Wacker Drive, they want to live in that area. The average cost of a one bedroom is around $1,900, $2,000 a month. Baby boomers and early Generation X parents are paying the cost of living. Now, what are the Generation Z and millennials doing with their pay? Because they really can't afford to pay it. So the parents are covering. The parents are dipping into their retirement to cover their cost of living. So what are these people doing? These kids doing? They're taking their paycheck and they're using their paycheck on lifestyle. They got all the top new gadgets, and every day after work, they're at a social event. They're at this restaurant, they're at that restaurant, they're at this restaurant, they're at this nightclub, they're at this after work event. They're taking Ubers to and fro. They're door dashing. They're Instacarting. They're broke. The younger generation is broke. Their parents are covering their lifestyle. Their parents are dipping into their retirement to pay for their living in the hopes that, these kids will eventually, work their way up the corporate ladder and they'll be able to support themselves. A lot of parents are supporting their children now. That has become the trend because a lot of college graduates ultimately can't afford to live and support themselves at the current cost of living. One main reason behind that is because they don't want to go the cheaper route. They want to live, work, and play in the same area. And I just don't think that's conducive to ultimately save money and, ultimately grow as an individual, whatever. I think uh, the economy is not headed in a good direction anytime soon. I think the earliest we may see um, some form of turnaround. Make sure y'all hit that like button too. Is maybe 2025, because you have to keep in mind there's an election next year, and if you are old enough to have remembered the last elections, let's say from the past, let's say 20 years, whenever there's an election, there's always a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And whenever there's fear, uncertainty, and doubt, what do people that have money do? They hold on to it, right? Until they see who comes in. They want to make sure that their guy gets in. You know what I'm saying? And then if their guy gets in, or the guy who most people want in, then you'll see people that do have money, which is the older generation, your boomers, your generation X, then you'll start to see them, loosen up on their pocketbook a little and start spending money. So whenever there's an election, people are going to hold tight. So going into next year's election, and next year's election is going to be probably just a circus, which is going to be more reason for people to hold on to their wallets a little bit tighter. So 2025, I think, is the earliest that we may see some type of turnaround. You said considering rising inflation and people being forced to spend less money. I don't think people are being forced to spend less money. Smart people are spending less money because they're smart. All right. The younger generation is spending. People are spending money. You see what I'm saying? That's why inflation keeps going up. The reason why they're increasing inflation is to get people to slow down from spending, right? But people won't slow down. People are doing whatever they need to do to spend money. The younger generation is still spending money on frivolous stuff because they have their parents supporting them. All right. So, if people can continue to spend money and they continue to rise inflation, then it ultimately is just going to become the new norm. I think the old way of recessions, that may be a thing of the past. There's just a lot of opportunities out here, and there's just a lot of money circulating that people will do whatever they have to do to have these experiences. Me, I'm spending less money. Why? Because I'm older and I'm smart. I'm older and I'm smart, and I'm hoping and I'm praying that there is a crash. I want it to crash. I want it to crash because that's the opportunity for me to go shopping. And when I say go shopping, I'm not talking about Saks, and I'm not talking about Neiman Marcus. I'm talking about for assets, real estate, stocks, whatever. Because when there is an economical correction to a certain magnitude, everything tanks. And that's when smart investors buy. Smart investors don't buy when things are high. Smart investors buy when things are low, and they sell to suckers high. That's how the rich gets richer and the poor gets poor and stay poor. Smart people buy in economic collapses. They hold, they let the things appreciate, and then they sell at a higher amount. So if the economy does do a major correction, that's why I'm holding money, because people that have cash on hand, when that does happen, are the people who are going to ultimately win. When there was the housing market correction back in 2008, all those people who had cash on hand back then are the wealthy, rich real estate people that you see today. The people who had cash on hand 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, these are the people that are wealthy in real estate today. Why? Because they were buying 2 flats for 10 grand. We'll never see a time like that again. Even if the market, let's say the housing market crashed, which I don't think it will, but let's say it did crash. Let's say it crashed tomorrow. It'll crash, but the rates, the prices won't go that low. So that was a once in a lifetime opportunity back then that'll probably never happen again. It's just like during the pandemic, able to sell off trucks, a depreciating asset, for more money than you bought it for 10 plus years ago. That will never happen again. Once in a lifetime opportunity. So, being a smart business person, ultimately, as well, you have to see these things and you have to be able to read the room. It's just like gambling at a casino, playing blackjack. You've been sitting at this blackjack table, you should know the way the cards are going. When you see your run, you recognize your run, what do? You press your hand, right? You press your hand because this is your opportunity to make all the money you can. And once that run is over, you pull back all your winnings and you push in all your winnings. You tell the dealer, cash me out. You take your money to the booth and you cash out. You turn those chips to cash. So recognizing your run, you see, okay, I won a hand. I won my second hand. I won 3 hands in a row. And all 3 hands were 20s. 4 hand, 21. This is my run. Let me press my bet. Your 5th hand, you win with a 19, which is rare. You rarely win with a 19. Dealer can show an 8. You got 19. Dealer got an 8. You hoping and praying she got a 10 under there. She flip up a 3, then flip over a face card. 21, you're done. You can never win with a 19. But let's say you win with a 19. Oh, man, that's your 5th hand in a row. Keep pressing. You keep pressing. While you're pressing, you're pulling a little money back. You got a $100 bet. You won $100. You press it 50, you pull 50 back. You win that $150 hand, you pull 100 back, you press it another 50. You win that $200 hand, you pull 100 back, you press it to 300. You win that $300 hand, you pull 100 back, you press it to 500. You win that $500 hand, I'm parlaying that 500 to 1,000. I win that $1,000 hand, I'm pulling it all the way back. I'm running that $1,000 hand until I lose. And that's how I make my money. That's how you got to look at business. That's how people that had cash on hand looked at the housing market. They had cash on hand, they invested it. They saw the opportunity, they saw their run, so they bought as many pieces of property for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. It's possible. It didn't matter if they were dilapidated or not. You throw $20,000, $30,000 into it, full gut rehab, you got cash on hand. You $50,000 all in on a piece of property. 50, 60,000 all in. 10 years later, you sell it now $400,000, $500,000. And during that 10 years, you with a 2 flat, you've been charging the person $1,200, $1,300 a month rent on each floor. You made your money back from your initial investment. You've already profited. And now you just sold something that you were 50, 60,000 in 10, 11 years ago for $400,000. But those are the people that had cash on hand. So, me, to answer your question, I know this is a long answer, but me, I'm hoping the market tanks so that, I can go shopping, but buy some more assets. Um, So the best thing to do is go full commercial insurance for cargo van to run for the company you mentioned. So the best thing is to go full commercial insurance. Well, if you're running commercial freight for a cargo van, you're gonna need commercial insurance anyway. Uh, appreciate. Sup, Mark? I want to know if curbside requirements are the same for middle mile, far as being compliant. Curbside and middle mile are 2 different things. Curbside and middle mile are 2 different things, 2 different required. Middle mile is OTR. Curbside is local, warehouse to doorstep, warehouse to curb, warehouse to dock, warehouse to doorstep, warehouse to garage. Doesn't go into the home. OTR is over the road. Totally different requirements. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. We got like 60-something people in here. We got 52 likes. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Yeah. Different thing, Natasha. There's going to be a peak season. Don't listen to this guy. 10-4. There was a peak season last year too, real trucker, right? And I never said there was going to be a peak season or wasn't going to be a peak season. I said I'm not going to talk about peak season unless it's in the member only. So check this out, real trucker. I'm going to load up on you because I never said it was going to be or it wasn't going to be. I said I'm only going to talk about it in members only. So, where my moderators at? I'm in the west side of Chicago. This guy is a fraud. Okay. What have I frauded? What have I sold anybody? What mentorship? Here, let me just drop the link. Let me just drop the link. There you go. This is how you get rid of trolls. You just drop the link. You don't run, you don't block people. You drop the link and they can come up. Because I already know who this is. It's the people that I talked about on my live stream the other day. Because I never had this type of issue until I did that live stream the other day where I talked about this same situation. When people come in, you don't block them. If you who you are, if you are who you say you are, you don't block people when they come to you with a grievance. You drop the link. Because if they are who they say they are, they're going to hit that link and they're going to come up. So you can meet me at the door. There go the link. This guy comes in and says, we talking about peak season. I ain't said nothing about peak season. I haven't given a forecast, nothing. Come in just talking crazy. So we already know who this is. And you from the west side of Chicago. Where you at on the west side of Chicago? Where you at? So there go the link. There go the link. That's how you get rid of trolls. You don't run, you don't hide, you don't block them. You don't call them haters. You just drop the link. They can come up. People spending money, but the value of the dollar is weak. So we already know who that is, y'all. Y'all know who that is. Y'all know who that is. Bet you he won't hit that link though. I swear to God, I bet you on a million Bibles he won't hit that link. Let me add this. There are a few FedEx, UPS routes, but I ain't there yet. Crashes are the best. That's when you buy assets. Best channel, hands down. Appreciate it. I'm here as an OTR box truck driver. I can buy a FedEx route and gross $1 million a year in profit. I'm here as an OTR box truck driver. There are some FedEx routes that gross $1 million a year, depending on how many routes, how many vans are in that route, and depending on the route as well. This guy is a flexer. We want knowledge, not bullshit. You can tell that this is either somebody who I talked about the other day or someone who never really watched my channel. Because everything that you're saying, everybody that watches my channel knows that I don't flex and knows that I'm knowledgeable. So we just gonna let this guy keep digging a hole for himself. So we don't run from trolls. We let them dig the hole for themselves. See, now if you would have did this maybe like a year, like 13, 14 months ago, then there would have been some validity to it. But I've got so much information out and I've saved so many people's businesses publicly on this platform and giving out so much valuable information that people have used and came back on my live streams and gave their testimonies, not to show testimonials, but in my live streams and said, man, Mark, everything you said is coming to fruition. I did this, I did that, man, you was right. So either you, one of these people that I was talking about the other day, which I told you to just take it as advice, don't get mad, or you somebody that just ran across my channel and got shit to do, and you coming in because everybody knows I'm knowledgeable. So where's he at? I dropped the link. He ain't said nothing no more, huh? See, that's how you take care of trolls, and that's how you take care of if somebody comes to you with a grievance. Because if you watched the live stream last Thursday, I spoke on an issue or I spoke on something that I saw that I didn't like how it was handled by other content creators in the space, and I just gave my advice. If you are who you say you are, and somebody comes with a grievance as a professional business person, then it's your duty to meet that grievance at the door. You don't run from it. You know what I'm saying? You don't hide. You don't block them. You don't come. Now, if they get disrespectful out of order, then you block them. But what you do is you drop the link. You drop the link. Because when you drop the link, if they are who they say, they're going to hit that link and they're going to come up, especially if they got a grievance. You see what I'm saying? And if you are who you say you are, you don't have nothing to run from. You don't have nothing to hide. So now you see how when you drop the link, how that takes care of business? See how it gets quiet? So to my fellow creators that I was talking to the other day, there go a real life example for you. Real life example. You just drop the link. That's all. Five Star said he don't want to smoke. He trolling. I know he trolling. Let's see. But the link up, we're gonna put it up one more time in case it scrolled past them too fast. Hold on. Hey, we got a little time today. We can set the timer. We can add a few more minutes to the timer too. It ain't no big deal. Let me get back to these questions though. We ain't gonna give him too much time. We ain't gonna give him too much time. Let me get back to the questions. Why I leave off at? Why I leave off at? People spending money, but the value of the dollar is weak. Crashes are the best. I'm hearing a lot of OTR. When blood is in the streets. You put in this. I'm the one side, probably Louisiana. Let me see. All right. So, any questions? I think I answered the last question, that economy question. So, any more questions? Any more questions, guys? I got about 20, 30 minutes. I'll give you another 10 minutes since I wasted 10 minutes on that goofy. I got to hit a button for him. Let me hit a button for that guy. Might as well.
Yo, goof ass. Goofy as hell.
All right, so hit a button for that guy. You said that would make a good short video. Drop the link on the haters. You know, it would be crazy if, let's say that was one of the people that I was not really addressing, giving advice to, and they came in under disguise and did that for me to drop the link, which further makes that situation look bad. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully it was just somebody that was passing, that was trolling and passing. And I'm thinking that probably was just a person who was passing by, because he said something about knowledge, and I don't think a competitor that watches me would have said that. So that gave it away for me. I just think it was a person who was probably passing. Somebody that probably thinks that I'm just like other people that sells $20,000 mentorships and gives people misinformation and thinks that I'm still heavily invested in the box truck business, who doesn't know that I've divested. And you see what I'm saying? So it's probably somebody that was just passing by. Hey man, I'm 20 years in, about to start my journey to start my cargo van business. Hey man, I'm 20 years old, about to start my journey, my cargo van business. Shout out to you, man. Congratulations, man. Start early. Save as much money as possible. If you can still live at home with your parents, stay at home with your parents while you build your business, so that you're able to save more money, and just work really, really hard, man. Do your business plan. Create goals, create milestones, so you have something to compete with your within yourself to accomplish. And just bust your ass, man. Just bust your ass. 20 is a good time to start. I wish I would have started this business at 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? Which would have been 10 years prior to when I did start, which, I would have already been in position in '08, '09 when the crash first happened. So I would have had a 2 year head start when the market crashed. I would have did good in the early to mid 2000s when people were buying all those houses at those exorbitant rates, and then turned around and would have made money. Unfortunately, on people losing their homes, which I did when I came in 2010. But if I would have already been in that position in 2008, man, man, it would have been a beautiful thing. So, man, 20 years old is a good time to start. Like I said, try to save as much money as possible and aggressively build your business, and you'll be on your way. By the time you get 30, man, you'll be well on your way. Hey, Mark, will the cargo van business last in the next 10 years? Yeah, of course. The more lazy people get, the more opportunity for small parcel package delivery. People are already getting their grocery delivered, their fruits. They're allowing people to go on Instacart shoppers to go in stores and pick fruit for them. So yeah, of course, there's going to be opportunities for vans. Um, yeah, 10 years down the line, yeah, I think people are going to be probably even more lazier. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see the way society is going. I don't see us going back to a way that we operated 20 years ago. I see it declining. You know what I'm saying? As far as how older generations look at it for work ethic. So yeah, I think there's going to be opportunity because I just ultimately think people are just going to continue to order things from home. So there'll be opportunity for people to deliver stuff. Uh, would you sell an asset to start this business? If you have an asset that you no longer have any use for that you're willing to part with, go ahead. Now, if you're talking about a piece of property, probably not. Probably not. If you have a stock, if you have some stock that you have, some change in, that I would consider that. You know what I'm saying? Um, if you have something that you can pull from to start the business, then yeah, that's how you're gonna source your startup capital. But then I don't see anything wrong with that as long as you're willing to part with that asset. Old school Ohio said, honestly, I'm sick of hearing the term peak season. I think the reason why is because I think around this time you see a lot of content creators in this space start pushing that narrative to ultimately get people to buy into whatever it is they're selling, because peak season has historically been known, you know, for certain industries to be, the time period where they make a lot of money. Um, I went through hell and high water last year saying it wasn't going to be no peak season. A lot of people diss me, like the guy that came in earlier and dissed me. I had to deal with a lot of that last year from other content creators, from people in the comment section. And when peak season came, only a handful of people came and admitted to me and apologized to me. And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I think peak season, let me not talk about it. I think ultimately why you're probably tired of it, I'm gonna say this, is because around this time, I think creators focus on it because that's ultimately how they drive in revenue to themselves. Whatever it is they're selling, they get people to buy in because they think that this is the holy grail time to make money. And we saw that last year. Things are changing. You know, if you're smart, and I know you guys are, you can just look at the trends and tell. And I know it's hard to believe, and even after last year, it may be still hard to believe. But you can just pretty much look and see what's going on and kind of determine. If you followed my channel last year, I told you how to determine it. When people tell you, oh, peak season starts in November, what did I tell you? I said it starts in July. The people who don't really know this industry are going to tell you peak season starts in November. And I said that last year. I watched a creator yesterday or the day before. on Instagram saying, man, peak season coming up. Peak season starts in November. This is how you know the people who really knows the industry and who doesn't. Peak season starts in July. You're not a consumer. You're not a retailer. Peak season for a retailer starts in July. Peak season in the logistics industry starts in peak season for retailers starts in November, excuse me. Peak season, and this is something I'll give away. Peak season for logistics starts in July. There's modes to transportation. The shit doesn't magically appear on the shelves Black Friday. It has to get to the shelf through a multitude of modes, which the origin point for most consumer goods that's delivered to your home or that you find on your shelf are imported. So how does peak season for logistics start in November if the stuff has to go through modes of transportation to get to the shelf? Like, this is common sense. And this is why people get mad, because I make them look stupid. So when you hear people, the same way I talked about, when you hear people say, man, stop taking cheap freight, I'm going to say this shit right here too and piss some people off. When you hear creators say peak season starts in November, you know they don't know what the hell they talking about, because if they really know logistics, peak season starts in July. And if you're smart enough to read charts, you'll be able to determine what your peak season is going to look like in November, or what retailers' peak season is going to look like in November, or what a trucker who's running middle mile. You block my brother, a real trucker. I'm his brother, and he is tired. I didn't block anybody. I didn't block a real trucker. He just stopped responding. You blocked my brother, real trucker. I'm his brother, and he is tired of the bullshit you have been putting on people. He also said you was terrible boss and treated. This is definitely a troll that switched his name. Drop the link. Okay, no problem. If it's an old employee, that's great. Let's come on up. Come on up, old employee. Let's see who this is. So, what's your thoughts on the Panama Canal situation? I haven't been keeping up with the Panama Canal situation. This guy said I blocked his brother. Pippi isn't in here. Nick isn't in here. So there's no moderators in here to block him. I dropped a link for him to come up. So how did I block him if I dropped the link? And I just dropped the link for you too. So we're gonna see if you come up. It's funny how all this shit is happening the live stream after I give other content creators advice on how not to treat people in their live streams. Ain't that funny to y'all? So there go the link. There go the link. There go the link. We all with the smoke. Let's meet in person. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, yawn. So this is what I'm gonna do. I didn't block Real Chucker, but I'm definitely gonna block Jerry T. Cause I dropped the link and he ain't on shit. And this is the same person clearly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give Jerry another minute to hit the link, and if not, we're gonna block him. No, we're gonna block him because I know where this is coming from. You know, I spoke on something the other day that was weighing on my mind that bothered me, and now all of a sudden I get trolled after I speak on how people treat people in the comment section because they felt like they were taken advantage of. So I spoke up for some people. Now I'm getting trolled. So we know where it's coming from, and whoever watched that live stream the other day, they can attest it. So we're gonna wait 30 more seconds. It's funny when you drop the link, everybody gets quiet. Didn't I say that the other day? Just drop the link. The link will end it all. Everybody that has had an issue that I've dropped a link that's come up, Rob, who else? Buddy from the other channel, he came in here talking crazy. I dropped the link on him. You know what I'm saying? It didn't go the way he thought it would go, but I dropped the link though. He came up, you just drop the link. That's all you do. You just drop the link. All right, so he ain't coming up. So where's he at? Jerry T. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Hold on. Share screen. Let's share it. Hold on so you can see. Let's go to. So let's go find him. Let's share him. Jerry T right here. That's him. So we're gonna. So it's transparency because I don't want him to say, "Oh, you blocked me" or whatever. Like we didn't block the other guy. So we're gonna. Can you block him? We're gonna put him on timeout. We put him on timeout, as you can see. Now, when you put somebody on timeout, you block them. That's what happens to all the messages. Now let's go up. Since he said I blocked Real Chucker, you still see Real Chucker right there, right? Now let's click here. He's not on timeout. He's still available. So this is how you know that this person switched from one person to another. All right. So we got Jerry T out of there. All right. Now let's go back here. All right. All right. So yeah. Hey, Jerry T. Unfortunately, I can still see you, but no one else can. Right now, what he's doing, guys, he's dissing all the subscribers. He said F all the subscribers. So so all right, he's out of there. So any more questions, guys? Let me add some more minutes to this timer, man, because I figured I would get trolled after the live stream the other day. So I expected it. So let me add. That's what happened when you call people out on shit. Let me add about 30 more minutes. We could do 30 more minutes. Save. Let's do 30 more minutes. All right. Any more questions? Any more questions? I had to get Buddy up out of here. Let me go scroll up, make sure I got the questions. We got the troll out of here. Let me see. What's a good profit margin to aim for per truck for an OTR owner operator or box truck in general? Well, the rule of thumb is 2 to 6%, but you can do more than 2 to 6%. My career average was 20%. But that's me doing a lot of heavy lifting. And when I'm saying heavy lifting, I'm not talking about the actual job per se. When I mean heavy lifting, just doing a lot of things that, maybe someone else would have someone else do, doing that stuff myself. I've told stories about me washing my own trucks, air filters, certain things that I could do myself when trucks went to the shop for PMs instead of paying that 20% markup on an air filter plus the time, that I just do that stuff myself. Whatever I could do or keep in house to ultimately keep um, money in, then that's what you got to do. I've always um, been an advocate for, spending less money. And that's why I'm big on, like, coming in, making sure you don't come in with a high initial cost. I know a lot of people like new, nice, shiny trucks, newer trucks, but I was always into buying older, 8-year-old trucks to ultimately, keep my costs down and I could acquire those trucks outright, um, and recoup that money a lot quicker. Um, Ultimately making my margins higher. I think if you operate it very efficiently, cost wise, if you could get running OTR, if you can get somewhere between 10 to 20%, and the reason I'm giving that range uh, is because everybody is different. If you can get somewhere between 20 to 20%, that would be great. As time progresses, as pay off your truck, um, you get more tenure in the space, your insurance will continue, as long as you don't have any accidents or get any points on your MVR, your insurance will decrease. Uh, and ultimately, when these things happen, your margins will go up. So, just being cost efficient, will ultimately help increase. If you can start somewhere, maybe your first year, and kind of operating at 10 to 20% profit margin range, I think you're doing good. You're doing better than most people are. The average, like I said, is 2 to 6%. So if you can focus on being somewhere between 10 to 20%, you're above average. Chicago, Texas. I can't give you the cities. I'm gonna give you the states. Chicago, Texas, California, um, not Chicago, Illinois, Texas, California. I would go four and five is tough for me. Four and five is tough for me because there's a lot of states after you come with those top three, four and five, it's kind of neck and neck amongst a few states. You can look at PA, you can look at uh, Jersey, no, not Jersey, New York. Um, what's that other state, man? What state? What state? What state? What state? No, I take that New York back. I take New York back. PA is good. Um, Wisconsin is good for freight. Anywhere in the Midwest is good for freight. PA is good for freight. I see a lot of stuff coming out of PA. So yeah, I'd rather give you a top three instead of a top five because after the first three, then a lot of these states are kind of close in numbers when you look at the load board as far as outbound freight is concerned. So I would go Illinois, Texas, California, and then I would say after that anywhere in the Midwest, Indiana, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Missouri, Indiana, um, even Iowa, Ohio, anywhere in the Midwest. So after your top three, you can focus on anywhere in the Midwest. But that top three that I gave you are going to be always your highest for outbound. I said New Jersey, but I took it back. I did say New Jersey, but I took it back. The reason why I took it back is because for people who are listening, I would rather them focus on just anywhere in the Midwest, um, outside of those top three. Um, so yeah, Michigan too. I forgot Michigan. Michigan is in the Midwest. So um, what are advantages and disadvantages of purchasing a vehicle under your business versus not buying it under your business? That's a good question. I think the advantages are the write-offs, right? If you got a business and the vehicle is being used for business, you should buy it under your business. You don't want any liability that you're acquiring for your business to be under your personal. You know what I'm saying? For various reasons. You know what I'm saying? You want the business to operate as a separate entity from yourself. God forbid you got a driver, you purchase this van or this truck, let's say under your personal, and it's registered under your personal because you purchased it under your personal. And I'm going to use a real eerie situation. And this is a business, and God forbid your driver kills somebody. Now the vehicle is registered to you personally. So now you become wrapped up in that lawsuit. So they're going to sue the business and they're going to sue the owner who the vehicle is registered to. Now, let's say, God forbid, and I'm using this example so you can really understand. I want to use a real intense example. Now, let's say you have a purchase a vehicle under the business, and God forbid the driver kills somebody. They can't come after you personally because the vehicle is registered to the business. So ultimately, they're going to sue the business. They're going to sue the driver of the business, right? He's going to be wrapped up in the lawsuit. It's going to be your responsibility and your insurance's responsibility to cover his legal fees within that lawsuit. But you personally will be indemnified from any and all liability. How do I know? Because I've been in this situation. Not that we've killed anybody, but I've been sued. You know what I'm saying? So they couldn't sue me personally, but they did sue. I had a truck that had an accident. I actually did a video about it last year, but this is early on when I first started YouTube, so it didn't get a lot of views. So I had a driver who had an accident, not far from the yard, and I still don't know who was at fault. And this is years later, but it was a my truck, one of my trucks, my driver, the passenger, the helper in the truck, and there was a lady in a Hyundai Elantra. Uh, my company ended up getting sued by my helper, the passenger in my truck. So the helper in the truck ended up suing my company. He ended up suing the driver who he was on the truck with, and he ended up suing the other lady that was involved in the accident. The last deposition I went to, well, the deposition I went to for this was in November of 2019. Then a few months later, COVID hit, and it's 2023 now. I'm assuming we won. I never heard back from the lawyer. You know, I would hear from him every month because this dude was really pressing. He went through like 5 or 6 different law firms before he found a law firm that actually stuck with the case because my team just kept, saying like, this guy is, out of his mind. You're not gonna win. And he finally found a law firm that stuck with it. I had to go in for a deposition. But ultimately, the point I'm trying to make is I wasn't wrapped up. He couldn't name me in that lawsuit because the company is its own entity. So that's corporation. The vehicles, my trucks are registered to the company. So only the company was listed on the lawsuit. My driver, which was his coworker, who was driving the truck, and he sued the lady. That's one good example of why I wouldn't buy. Another good example of why I wouldn't get. There's only advantages to buying a truck or a van for your business. If you have a logistics or a trucking or a van business, there's only advantages to buying it under your business versus buying it under your personal. Another good example is, what if the business folds? What if the business folds? 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have to PG it. You're gonna have to personally guarantee it, but it's easier to fight off that PG, and sometimes it'll miss you. Sometimes they won't add that repossession or that voluntary repo. Let's say if your business folds and you have to turn that van or that truck back in, they may not add it. You may get lucky. They may not add it, but it's definitely going to be added for the company because the company acquired it. You know what I'm saying? So if your company folds, you don't want that kind of tied directly to you, even though it may hit you, you know what I'm saying? But it'll be easier to fight that off versus you buying it directly under the company. You don't want any liability uh, tied to you if you have a company. That's the point of having a company. You creating that separate entity. There's other disadvantages. I just wanted to give two really, really good ones, to kind of, do a compare and contrast. I think there's only advantages. There's only advantages. I don't want shit tied to me. Even luxury cars under the business. Under the business. I don't know what may happen. I don't want nothing tied to me personally. if I don't need it to be tied to me personally. That's what the business is there for. I can never create another mark. I can always create another business. I can always create another business. You can never create another mark. So anything that's a liability that you're going to purchase for the business, you want that to be under the business. You don't want anything to indemnify. You don't want anything to affect you personally. You want to indemnify yourself as much as possible from all liabilities. So, um, what's going on? What's going on? Have you heard anything about the sacks with Capstone? I'm looking to expand. Remember you saying to be versatile and not have all my eggs in one basket. When you say sacks, you mean the store sacks or what do you mean? We want to make sure Capstone is good to work. Have you heard anything about the sacks? Oh, you talking about the mail sacks? I haven't had any subscriber come to me saying that they are running that. I've seen people in the comment section that came in and said not personal subscribers that come to me and converse with me or chat with me. But I saw some comments where people were saying that the sacks were heavy and this, that, and the third. So as far as the contract, whether it's good or bad, I don't know. I just seen complaints in my comment section about the sacks were heavy. So I don't know. But I would inquire with them if you're still looking for opportunity to see if that opportunity is available. Uh, is it possible to switch your vehicle from your personal name to your business name while it's being financed? That's a good question. You'll probably have to refinance to do that, but you probably want to go speak with your DMV second after you speak with your finance company. Speak with the finance company first, speak with the DMV second. But more times out of not, in order to do that, you're probably gonna have to refinance it in order to do that. I would think. Yeah. So Mike G said no, not without changing the loan. So basically, yes, you're gonna have to refinance it. How you put your truck in your business name besides leasing it? Once you start your business, when you go to the truck dealer or the van dealer to buy the vehicle, make sure you bring your articles of incorporation, your SS4 form, which is your tax ID, your EIN, and say you're purchasing this vehicle under your business because they're going to ask for your articles of incorporation. They're going to ask for your tax ID. And then that's how you do it. 9 times out of 10, they're going to have you personally guarantee it. That's it. Simple as that. Uh, what are you asking me? Also, I've been having trouble getting business credit because Dun and Bradstreet won't take Gmail emails. How can I find someone to pay? You said Dun and Bradstreet won't take Gmail. So if you got a business, why don't you just go on GoDaddy, get a website, create a website for your business, which in return is going to allow you to have a company email, and then just go that route. Somebody answered the question too. Make a business email, get some trade lines and business credit. Right. So just go on GoDaddy, whatever the name of your business is, create a website for your business, or don't create a website for your business. Just buy the domain for your business, park the page. 9 times with GoDaddy, you get one free email. I believe they still have that offer, and then that's going to be linked with your Outlook because they use Outlook. Create an email for your business, and then use that email. Uh, would you scale down from box to cargo when exiting? Uh this guy's still threatening me in the chat. Y'all can't see it, but he threatened me. So he switched his name to Jerry T the Trucker. So check this out, Jerry T the Trucker. and this is gonna be the last time I respond to you. I already know you trolling because only a sucker would say goofy shit like that. You catch me in the street and you play games with me, I'm not gonna play games with you. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. So if you really who you say you are, matter of fact, I don't even know why I'm responding to your goofy ass because I ain't never did shit to you. But play with me in these streets if you want to. I'm gonna tell you one thing, I'm going home that night. So you figure that out. You read between the lines on that. Uline, BP card, both will report, and I ain't got shit else to say to you. So you can keep typing to yourself because I ain't gonna respond to you. They can't see you no way. And a $52,000 a year job better hold on to than starting the final mile trucking business in Atlanta, GA. Is a $52,000 a year job better to hold on to than starting a final mile trucking business in GA? You can make a lot more money in trucking, you know what I'm saying? Now, gross. Gross. Now, how much you bring home, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of truckers not bringing money home. Um, for various reasons. One is because their operating cost is very high. So they're bringing the money in gross, but they're spending it right back out, right? And if there is anything that they have, they're not paying themselves correctly and they're, robbing from the sustainability of the business, so on and so forth. So to answer your question, yes, you can make double, triple that running a box truck business. How much you're going to keep of that all depends on you. But yes, is it? It's available. I started in October. Warehouse manager told me he'll let me pick a route I want first because I came in early. They remember me from when you dropped that YouTube video about it. What are you talking about? You talking about Capstone? Oh, Capstone. Because I came in early. It's available. I started. Oh, so you already got it. Congratulations. Warehouse manager told me he'll let me pick a route I want first because I came in so early. And they remember me from when you first dropped that YouTube video. Oh, okay. So there you so when I dropped the video, you inquired, it starts in October in your market, and they remembered you from the video Capstone. So they're giving you preference to pick your route because they remembered you from reaching out for my video. Well, man, that's good, man. That's good, man. I'm glad that you're getting a little form of nepotism, I guess, so to speak. I'm glad that that's gonna work in your favor, man. See that real trucker, or whatever your name is. See how I'm helping people, and you sitting over there like a goofy that you
Yo,
is.
goof ass.
Because you can't help people on your channel. Oh, I'm giving too much information away for free, and you can't steal my information no more. Maybe that's what it is. Now y'all see why I can't do that no more because I have a website I use, Namecheap. I just can't get the email to work. Man, you might want to use GoDaddy, man. GoDaddy is a lot more seamless than some of these other, domain websites. GoDaddy is real seamless. It's pretty much just point and click. So see if you can transfer that domain from Namecheap over to GoDaddy. It's going to take about a week for the transfer to go through. And then once it's transferred over from Namecheap to GoDaddy, you should be able to go in there and purchase an email. Since you didn't buy it from GoDaddy, they're probably going to require you to purchase an email from you with your domain. I think it's going to be like $1.99 a month. And then from there, it will be a point and click to set it up with Outlook. But don't hold me to that because I've never purchased a domain on Namecheap. But you should be able to transfer it from Namecheap to GoDaddy. Uh, that got you have refrigerated trucks moving farmer produced from an Atlanta to Columbus, South Carolina. Do you know if he's looking for owner operator help? I'm located in Columbus, South Carolina. You know, a lot of people reached out to me about that guy, and I've made it publicly known that I'm looking for him as well, and he hasn't responded. So hey, uh, I forget his name, to the guy who was in Atlanta. If you're watching right now, you know, I dropped the link earlier. Hit the link, come on up. There's a lot of people that are interested in some more information that you gave as far as reefer box trucks and that farmers market account. A lot of people have asked me for that guy's contact. So if you're in here watching, or if you watch this and you come across me telling you this, if you got Instagram, DM me or leave a message under this video so I can get in contact with you so I can bring you on. A lot of people got questions for you. Uh, have I used Uline? How fast do they help your business credit? I've never used Uline. They do help you with building your business credit. The reason why I've never used Uline is because it's too expensive. And this goes back to what I was talking about earlier as far as your cost. Uline is expensive. For a case of shrink wrap, they want 120 bucks for 80 gauge. I can point you where to get a case of shrink wrap for 67 bucks, 80 gauge. Quality. After taxes, 72, $73. All right. I'm saving about 50 bucks. So Uline does help build your business credit, but I would rather save money than utilize that to build my business credit. You know, when I came in, I didn't have any credit. I worked really, really hard and scaled up one vehicle at a time. I started from humble beginnings, and I used cash. I used cash flow to start acquiring and building my fleet. I know we're in different times now. I know people aren't willing to, let's say, work as hard as I did. But me personally, if I had to weigh building business credit versus paying an exorbitant amount of money for material, knowing I'm paying an exorbitant amount of money for the material because I'm telling you, taught me build business credit, me, I would find somewhere else to buy my materials from. And I would go about building business credit another way because every dollar you save is a dollar earned. And I just gave you the difference of 50 bucks for a case of shrink wrap. 50 bucks is a lot. Think about what you can do with 50 bucks for your box truck business or your cargo van business. You know, so, and depending on how much you use that material, you know, those savings, you know, are gonna, if you're going to Uline, you're using that, you're just $50 here, another case $50 there. Now you're at 100. Two cases, you're at 100 bucks. So me personally, and if you follow my channel, you know I'm big on saving money because, to reiterate it again, the margins in this business are very, very small. Anybody that's running their box truck business the correct way will tell you Mark is right. The margins are small. You have to damn near run your business to perfection because the margins are so small, and the slightest margin of error will put you upside down. So with that being said, I'm going to reiterate it again. You have to always keep in mind that uh, you want to save as much money as possible because the margins are small. And as far as buying your equipment for your box truck business, you always want to go to a moving supply warehouse to buy your supplies. You're going to always come out cheaper than Uline. CDS or New Haven. CDS or New Haven. CDS or New Haven. I'll share it right here now with you guys. So you don't know if you're not picking it up. All right. So let me share my screen here. And I apologize about those trolls. Well, that troll earlier, you know, even conversing back and forth with them. I apologize for y'all. Forgive me. Please forgive me. Let's see here. Let's see. All right, so this is CDS. Um, They're not everywhere, so if they're not in your market, you're gonna have to order. But this is CDS. And then the other website is going to be. Let me share my screen one more time so you guys can see this company. The other company is going to be New Haven. All right. So this is where you want to buy all your truck equipment from. You want to buy it from moving supply places. You're going to come out a lot cheaper. A lot cheaper. For you guys that are in moving, if I see you with that green shrink wrap, I know you went to Home Depot. I'm warning you now. You're going to Home Depot, you're buying that cheap 43 gauge shrink wrap, and you're calling yourself a mover, you're tweaking. One, you're paying $21 a roll for that 43 gauge shrink wrap. All right. And, you know, you can get 880 gauge for about $16 to $17 a roll, which is a higher quality, more durable. You should be using 80 gauge anyway. Stop going to Home Depot buying that cheap shrink wrap. It tears. It's not doing. You're wasting your money with that stuff. All right. All right, I'm gonna take a few more questions and I'm gonna get out of here. I've been on longer than I said I was. Um, Let me see. So you took IKEA over Capstone. Really, all thanks to you. Really put me on. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Do. Money straight. Did you create a holding company once you started making multiple businesses? No, I did not. That's something that I did think about, creating a holding company and then putting all the companies under the holding company, but ultimately I didn't because um, a lot of my businesses are kind of all over the place. That's something that I've thought about multiple times, and I think I am going to create a holding company um, before the end of the year for a lot of my upcoming business, because a lot of my upcoming things that I have ideas for are kind of all in the same realm, but they're different companies, but kind of all under the same realm. So I think I am going to create a holding company before the end of the year for some new ideas that I have. But no, I didn't create a holding company for any of the other stuff that I had. I've done app companies, obviously the moving, the trucking company, and just other companies. I had a online pet company. I've had accessory companies, a lot of different companies that I've tried and failed, or tried and did good for the moment, and then I shut down. Um, that I just didn't put them all under one holding company. So everything has always been separate. Uh, Talk with us says he would use Uline. Me personally, that to each his own. Me personally, man, you know what Uline charge for a pallet jack? I'm about saving money. I'm about saving money. They crazy as hell. $3.95 for a pallet jack. You know where I was buying pallet jacks from when I was buying pallet jacks? Harbor Freight. So $3.95 at Uline. Let's see how much Harbor Freight is charging now for a pallet jack. Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight. See, y'all ain't cheap. I'm cheap. Hold on. Let me see. pallet jack. Damn. Hold on a second. Damn, they done went up. I didn't pay this much for no pallet jacks back in the day. They want $3.99 for a 2.5 ton pallet jack. $4.69. Oh, that's an online exclusive. So in store, $3.99.99. Damn, pallet jacks done went the hell up. Hold on, let me see something. Man, shit high as hell. Man, I see like this. I haven't looked for a pallet jack in years, but man, inflation is something else. So, well, I guess Uline is your best bet compared to Harbor Freight. Well, it's about the same thing. You saving $5. Well, hold on, let me see something. Now, if you really want me to get real cheap, I'll tell you where to buy a pallet jack from. I buy a used pallet jack for $75. Yeah, pallet jack's going for about $400 nowadays, y'all. They're going for about $400 everywhere. Hold on. The prices is pretty much consistent across the board, which is crazy. Hold on, let me see something. I want to look one more place. Y'all. Good old. Hold on. Let me see. Trailers, materials. Let me see some, y'all. All right, here goes. Now, if you're really trying to save some money, you could buy a used pallet jack. You could buy you a used pallet jack. Oh, they tweaking. Look what they trying to sell a used pallet jack for on Craigslist. Yeah, it's messed up out here now, y'all. They want $800 for a used pallet jack. They tweaking. Oh no, this is a funny one. That's why that one 800. Let's see if they got a regular one. 250 for this one. Yeah, man, inflation kicking in. I paid 250 for my pallet jacks back in the day. 250, 275. Like new, $400. Yeah, yeah. People trying to get over now, man. Yeah, it's rough out here. 350. Yeah, he tweaking. Yeah, I guess you can go to Uline and buy you a pallet jack. I guess you can. Yeah, Uline is expensive. I've never bought nothing from Uline ever, but looking at this stuff now, because I haven't priced this type of stuff in years. Before you, there would be a gap with Uline versus everybody else, but now it looks like prices are consistent because people are competing, companies are competing for that consumer, but these prices are through the roof now. Uh, Let me see. Hey, Mark, what was the name of the pre-purchase inspection company that you told us about? Hold on, I can get it for you right now. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up. On-site inspections. On-site inspections. On-site inspections. On-site inspections. I'll pull it up. Let me share my screen real quick. On-site inspections. Now, this was a company that a couple people used in this particular area. So you would have to find one in your area because I had a few people buy vehicles from this area. So you would have to find one that's in the area. So you would just Google um, a vehicle inspection. Let's see, in your state, and then make sure you do a compare and contrast against each one of them, and then ultimately decide on who you want to go with. Now, if you buy a vehicle in another state outside from your home state, then you would obviously go with a vehicle inspection company that's in that state, and have them go to the dealership or wherever the vehicle is at, do the inspection, and email you the report. Best cargo van company, Steel, T-Force, and Capstone. You want to throw Waco in there as well. Is GoShare legit? Absolutely. It's absolutely legit. Since margins are small, what would you do about job and auto industry? What would you do about since margins are small? What would you do about job in the auto industry, which is decent? What do you mean? What would I do about a job in the auto industry? You talking about as a career, or be a little bit more specific? I saw a 1985 GMC 12 foot box truck for sale for 1,500. Had less than 50,000 miles, but the guy said I couldn't test drive it. I would stay away from it. 1985, less than 50,000 miles. The miles probably been rolled back on it. The miles probably been rolled back on it. Hit the like button. If obviously he don't let you test drive it, it's some foo foo. It's some foo going on. Some fugazi stuff going on. So I would stay away from it. Why does this guy keep putting this shit up here? Hold on. Let me hit my button real quick. Let me hit my button. Facebook Marketplace Authority active. It was sitting for years. It's in my neighborhood. I grew up in and I remember it sitting and never moving. We got it started and using starting fluid, but when he said I couldn't test drive it, I passed. Yeah, that's a smart move. I wouldn't have bought it neither. Kevin says, man, it's best to buy it from the auction. What, you talking about a truck? It's risky buying anything from the auction, especially an online auction, that you're not physically there to diagnose it. Um, I wouldn't say it's best to buy a vehicle from an auction. If you can find a dealership that sells trucks in your market, nothing is better than you're going to come out cheaper than at an auction, but you're buying blind almost at an auction, especially an online auction. If you go to a physical auction like Manheim or something like that, you take your mechanic with you, you have time. If you get there early enough, I don't know if anyone has ever been to an auction before. If you get there early enough where you can see the stuff as they're lining it up and through the line, or if it's part before it gets in the line, to kind of diagnose it, look under the hood and stuff. Ultimately, you're still kind of taking a risk. It's always, to me, it's going to be better if you buy it from like a credible place. You may pay a little bit more money, but some type of effort has been put into it to make sure that it's a decent vehicle, especially if you're buying it from a company that has a reputation and they have integrity. They don't want anything to stain or damage their reputation. And you may pay a little bit more, 20 to 30% markup because of that, but ultimately you have more of a peace of mind. I've never purchased anything from an auction. All my used trucks I bought from the same dealer, and he went to the budget auction to purchase. So that dealership, all that dealership's trucks where I acquired all my used trucks from, went to a budget auction. He acquired them, obviously, brought them back to his uh, lot. He has on-site mechanics there that diagnose, do whatever they need to do to make sure the trucks are in good condition to sell. They do cosmetic repairs, paint the boxes, touch up the wheels, things of that nature. and then obviously sell some. I much rather do that than fool around at the auction. That's just me personally. Uh, oh man, this guy, man. Where is this guy at, man? Let me just keep blocking this fool. Hold on. He said Mark ain't who he say he is. So who am I then? Because the only person I said I was a box truck business person. And I've given plenty of great box truck information. The information that I give, we wouldn't know it unless you do it or have done it. So what have I told people that I'm not who I said? Because the only thing I've told people about trucking. So you're trolling. You have nothing else better to do with your life, and it's sad. Go get you a woman. Go get you a woman. All right. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna block you from here, content creator. All right. We're gonna block you here. No, you know what? We're gonna block you because I didn't block you before. So now you're done. So now you're done. You can't do anything anymore. And then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna ban you. We're gonna ban you. Boom. So now you can't do anything. And now we're done. So we kicked you before. Now you're done. So you went from real trucker to Terry to John. All right. Now you're blocked for good. All right. Because I don't have time to play games with you. I'm here giving people information that they need. You're talking to a person who's been on YouTube a year and a half, who's gave valuable, great information. You're a poor content creator, is what you are, who's been misinforming people and selling people dreams. And I called it out on how you responded to people who wanted to talk about the money that they feel like you took from them and didn't give them anything. And when I finally stuck my neck out for the people, this is what I was expecting in return. And it happened the very next live. So I expected this. This is what happens when you call people out. You know, they come back to troll you. Get those people their money. If you don't know what you're talking about in trucking, stop charging people for mentorships. If you don't know what you're talking about or you don't know how to effectively run a business, stop charging for stuff and then not giving the people what they bought. So that way, when you go live, they don't come in there messing with you, calling you a scammer. See, can't nobody call me a scammer because I haven't sold them anything. So you can't come from that angle. Oh, man. St. Louis says another troll. No, it's the same person. Just keep switching his name. Notice that all three of them ain't in here at the same time. Just keep switching the name. It's the same person. It didn't even answer my questions, and he was tired, very disappointed. Screwed me in a box truck coaching course. Well, this might be a real person because I did have some people that I told them that in the coaching course that they was wasting their time. So this might be a real person. I had 3 situations. I had one guy that came in, he just didn't know shit. And I told him, you don't know shit. I said, you coming to me, I do strategy. Don't come to me with dumb shit. He came to me, this man didn't know shit from shit. So this may be a real person. And I talked about that on the channel. Anybody that comes to me and you don't know cost per mile, I'm gonna hold you accountable. So you're right. This might be a real person. People have had coaching sessions with me, but if you come to me and you come to me for penny shit, knick-knack shit, and you don't know shit, I'm gonna call you out on it. And you're gonna feel crazy because I'm not gonna sit up in a coaching session and tell you what you want to hear. I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear. I had a coaching session yesterday where a lot of stuff that I feel like a person should have before they do. And I'm not going to tell these people business because I think they one of them was in here earlier. You know, they made steps in their business and did things in their business and skipped a bunch of steps. And I had to hold them accountable for that. And what happens when you tell people the real information, they don't want that. Listen, you're not going to come to me and get the answers that you want to get. I'm going to give you the answers that you need to hear. So, maybe this is that guy. I had a guy where I argued in a coaching session with. And, let me unblock him because here's the guy. If this is you, guy, let me take him out of timeout, unhide John, which is not him. Come on up and express your grievances. Tell people how you don't know shit from shit. That was the link. And I just unblocked him. Come on up and tell the people how you don't know shit from shit. And when I say nothing, nothing. So how can I coach somebody who's don't know nothing? When I say nothing, you think of the easiest thing, nothing. And then when I tell them something, you want to contest what I say. So if this is that guy, come on up. Because this was about 5-6 months ago. Come on up, tough guy. The floor is yours. So maybe that's that guy. I had a guy like 6 months ago. So he's back on the channel. We took him off. We dropped the link, so we'll wait patiently, but I'll answer a few more questions. And he ain't coming up, huh? Yeah, that's what I figured. All right, any more questions? What's an ideal cost per mile for OTR in today's climate? Question for everyone. Well, he asked everybody that question, but I'm gonna give you an answer. I don't think anyone can answer that question. I think everybody can only answer that question for themselves. You know what I'm saying? What may be ideal for one person may not be ideal for the next person. All depends on situation. So, I think a lot of people would say, oh, well, everybody wants to run for their cost of miles to be under $1 a mile, let's say. So you're going to have a bunch of people saying 78 cents a mile, 79 cents a mile, 80 cents a mile, 85 cents a mile. So I think that question is, well, I'm curious to see what other people say, but no one answers. So, but let's see what other people say. Trucking insurance for me is $2,900. Bro, hit the link. Hit the link, bro. Hit the link. Come on, hit the link, man. Before I get up out of here, I'll let you back in. So hit the link. I ain't talking shit. You the one doing all the shit talking. So hit the link. Hit the link, man. I'm gonna give you a minute to hit the link. I'm gonna block you. Cause I ain't got time to play games, bro. Where's the countdown at? Let's give him a minute, y'all. Let's get this guy a minute. 1 minute. Save. There we go. You on the clock, John. John's on the clock. You're on the clock. Come on, John. You're on the clock. So when he heard me say I don't do mentorship, he came with a coaching thing. So let's hear. Because I only had one argument with one guy on a coaching call. One guy. And that was 5-6 months ago. And I just, So there go the link. You say you on the west side of Chicago looking for a bus down. Touchdown. probably Mark ain't probably never been to Chicago in his life. I grew up on the west side of Chicago. I grew up on the west side of Chicago and on the southeast side of Chicago. So you from the west side of Chicago. Name me, let's do a little trivia. But when I see you, it's up. I don't do internet. I'm a felon. You know how I know this is cap? Because I've only done one coaching session with someone from Chicago. And he wasn't from the west side. He wasn't from the west side. And that, you see, this is crazy. And anybody watching my channel, I say it all the time. I don't do that many coaching sessions. I don't do that much coaching sessions. I say it all the time. So people that I do coaching sessions with, I remember them. You know what I'm saying? So for one, I've only done one coaching session with someone from Chicago. I run into people that watch the channel from Chicago all the time. And they don't do nothing but show me love. So now I know this is really a troll. So we're gonna go back and block him again. Since he ain't trying to do shit. He threatening me. Clearly we know he don't really know who I am by putting a threat to me. But let's go ahead and get him up out of here now. All right, John, sorry you out of here. Man, John, you really ruining my life. Let's see here. We got John up out of here. Since he not gonna come up. But that's how y'all know. If a content creator, when things like that happen, just drop the link for anybody that's a content creator, you know. If when you drop the link, a person that really has a grievance with you, they're gonna come up. And it's funny that the same thing that I addressed on my live stream the other day is happening to me today. So when I hold other people accountable, this is their way of paying me back. But I do what I told them to do, but they can't hit the link because it's going to expose who they are. But remember this, whenever you drop the link, person, if they really who they say they are, they really got an issue with you, they're going to hit that link. They're going to hit it. So, John, you didn't hit the link. So you ain't on shit. You ain't on shit, John. You just trolling because you ain't got shit to do. You ain't got shit to do. So, John don't got no issues. That's a troll. That's a troll. He a troll. John is a troll. That's another creator, man. If I wouldn't have did that live stream the other day, this shit wouldn't even be happening right now. All right, any more questions? And if not, I'm gonna get out of here, man. Because John kind of blew me, or Terry, or whatever his name is. My moderator Pippi, her father passed, so she's not in here. She would have caught that and just got rid of him, and I wouldn't even seen it. So I kind of got to do moderation and stuff. So, when Pippi come back, I'm gonna screenshot this shit too, just in case. So that way, when I go upside, let me not say nothing. I'm gonna screenshot this shit. So if somebody walk up to me and say they John, and they play with me, you already know what it is. So, which I know is a troll. Ain't nobody crying over no $199. Ain't nobody threatening nobody over no $199 coaching session. I tell you that much now. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that tells you they're gonna hurt you or bring harm to you for $199, that's a troll. And if somebody is willing to go that far to put their own life on the line for that, whether it's they life, or whether going to jail for $199. Now, I understand why people are upset for like mentorships and shit like that when they spending tens of thousands of dollars, but not $199. I had one issue with one guy, and it turned into an argument because he didn't want to take heed to the information I was saying, and it turned into an argument. And I talked about that on the channel, like the live stream after it happened. So that's maybe that guy, that may not be. So who knows? Either way, who cares? So, yeah, I know that. I know that. Ain't nobody gonna walk up and do it anyway, because with the amount of information and value that I give on the channel, even let's say that situation did happen, which it didn't, that person still would have been able to get some type of value from the channel and make money from it. Especially if you claim you're in Chicago. If you're in Chicago and you're a loser in trucking, that means you just a loser. But we know this person is in Chicago. They're changing the name. They're trolling. They don't have nothing else better to do. They just were our entertainment for the night. So it is what it is. Old school say you're still the best, Mark. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I indulge in some BS tonight. I ain't gonna do it no more. I'm just going to start blocking people. That's my bad for doing what I did the other day, but it was on my mind, it was on my heart, it had been bothering me, so it is what it is. Can you answer my question about buying a truck with a rebuilt engine? What was your question? Let me scroll up and see what the question was. Would you buy a box truck with a rebuilt engine? A lot of used trucks have rebuilt engines and transmissions. Yeah, why not? I would buy a truck with a rebuilt engine. I would buy a truck with a rebuilt transmission. Yep, I would. I 100% would. Ford Transit over Ram. Yeah, I would pick a Ford Transit high roof over a Ram. CEO CSS wasted energy. Agreed. I indulged in it a little bit tonight. But before I go, I do got some good news. I do got a webinar coming up. So my first webinar is gonna be very affordable. It's gonna be under $100. It's going to be for everybody who's looking to get into the box truck space or they're starting a box truck base. So it's going to be more how to start your box truck business. It's not going to focus on your structuring your business and things like that. Like, I'm gonna leave that to you guys. I focus specifically on the business at hand. Anything that's Googleable, I'm gonna trademark that word, Googleable, too. Anything that's Googleable, I say it all the time, you're not gonna get that from me. I'm gonna make sure that you guys are doing the research that you need to do to ultimately be a good business person. I focus on strategy, and I use my experience to tell you how to ultimately start. I'm going to use my experience to tell you how to ultimately start your business. So, how to start a box truck business. We're going to focus on starting your business um, at the inception. We're not going to go through your DOT. We're not going to go through your MC. I'm going to focus on the things you need coming in once you got your business structure, you got your authority on how to move and shake. Initial cost, uh, different lanes of trucking, understanding your market, ultimately how to decide on which avenue you should go down, how to use the process of elimination to ultimately decide things of that nature. So if it's anybody out there, which I know I got a lot of subscribers that are looking to get into the box truck space that haven't, that's why I got this poll. It's about 58% have started, 42% haven't, and that's just out of the 91 votes of people that are on this live stream tonight. Still like 17,000 other subscribers that still need to vote, that need to see this content once I start promoting it. I'm only having 50 seats available. I'm not doing no hundreds of people. It's not a cash grab. that's I'm limiting the amount of seats because I only want to work with a small group of people, um, which is going to be 50 people. There's going to be two tickets, $75 and 125. 125, 75 is be the general admission. 125 is going to be general admission plus 15-minute consultation, which will be on another day. So that 125 ticket is going to come with a 15-minute consultation. Um, when can you purchase? Probably by the end of the week. Everything is pretty much done. I'm just waiting on the marketing for it. Once the marketing gets done, then I'll start promoting it. It's going to be next month. The date will be on the marketing. Once you guys see it, you'll be able to register, get a link, purchase your ticket. You'll get your link for you to register, and then obviously the day of the webinar, you'll come in. It's probably going to be somewhere between 3 to 4 hours. So you're going to get your money's worth, and we're just going to cover things coming in. Depending on how long it goes, there may or may not be a Q&A session. What I may do is the people who do pay for the higher ticket, maybe I may allow them to ask their questions and give them their 15 minutes there, depending on how it goes. If not, then we'll do it on a separate day. Uh, and then for people who are a little bit more intermediate or advanced, I'm working on a second webinar for you guys, maybe at the end of October. But I want to get the people who are looking to get into the space out the way first. Um, first, right? So that's what we're looking at. That's going to be in the middle of next month. So stay on the lookout for that. I'll drop all the marketing in the community. You'll obviously start seeing the ads on my live streams, on my and on Instagram and on Facebook, and then I'll keep reminding you whenever I'm live to purchase your tickets. There's only gonna be 50 tickets. Only 50. Like I said, I'm not looking to work with a lot of people. Not trying to make. It's not a money grab. I only want to deal with a small amount of people. Only a small amount. So when it goes up, make sure you don't wait to the last minute. Um. Uh. Mark, keep exposing these guys. Good lie tonight. Exposing ain't really my thing, man. But and I don't even feel like I exposed nobody the other day. I just felt like something was on my heart that I just felt like, I certain people, I feel like I hold them to a different standard because of, I just hold certain people. I feel like certain people should I think should be the model for other people coming up, right? So, me speaking on that situation the other day for something that happened 3 weeks ago, it's just, it was bothering me. You know what I'm saying? So I spoke on it. And this is what happens today. So I don't go around trying to expose people. And that wasn't exposed. That was just advice. And hopefully they take heed to it. I think the way I kind of expose people is by indirectly is just by getting on here and just giving a vast amount of knowledge and information about the space. You can't really at this point, as long as I've been on YouTube, you can't really contest that I don't know what I'm talking about. And it's not to boast or brag, it's just obvious. So what happens is when you have people that, are coming into space that only had 2-3 years in that were, maybe at a certain level where people look to for information, and then someone comes on or a couple people come on like Kurt and myself that have just more years of experience that can speak from a broader viewpoint on the industry and just have more information and more knowledge, that goes back to what I talked about competitive advantage. I know what my competitive advantage is, and I know how to gain market share in here is by utilizing what I have in this space, and that's my experience. And I can understand why people would get upset with that, but what I spoke on the other day just was weighing on me, and I just wanted to speak on it. So, when can we purchase? By the end of this week. Uh, ain't no moderators in here, but hold on. Let me to purchase the webinar. You gotta wait till I put the link out. Wait till I put the link out. To become a member, you have to become a member of the channel by using your computer. The only way you can join the channel as far as being a member is from your computer or from an Android. If you're on your Apple device, your Apple iPhone or your Apple iPad, it won't show you the link. You can only join as a member to the channel from an Android or from your home computer. And as far as the registration link for tickets for the webinar for next month, I'm going to release that this week. You'll know because you're going to start seeing the advertisement for it all over the place. RXO hit me back for a call. It's Final Mile White Glove contract. I haven't responded to an email yet. Don't even have my boss yet. Yeah, I think you told me that a while ago. Or maybe that was somebody else. But yeah. RXO, they got plenty of opportunities. They got plenty of opportunities for Final Mile big and bulky. Now, curbside, I don't know. Old school said he exposed himself, so man, you know what it is, man. You know. Certain things I ain't gonna touch on, but I don't like when people get mistreated. You know, I feel like, and I keep reiterating it. In an industry, and I talked about this a little bit when I did the live stream about content creation because I know a bunch of box truck people that watch me that want to start their channels. And a little bit of advice that I can give you in parting is that when you're in a content creation space and people are spending money, when people's money is on the line, whether they're spending money with you directly for, let's say, coaching, mentorships, things of that nature, um, or they're watching you, they haven't spent money with you directly, but they're watching you and they're consuming the information that you're giving, ultimately to go take that information and go out and spend money. Uh, you have to be very careful with how you present content. If you know you're not knowledgeable on certain things and you're presenting things, and people are believing this information and they'll go out and trying to implement this stuff and it's just not turned out to what you said it would be, or they're going out trying to implement this stuff and then people are be like, why are you doing this? Who told you that? That's not correct. That's not correct information. Is where people get upset. So when you're giving information, you have to be very careful with the information you're giving. You need to make sure that you know exactly what you're talking about, because misinformation can cost people money, and there was a lot of misinformation that was given over the past 3 years. This industry became a trend, and a lot of people got into it, and a lot of people got into the content creation of it aspect of it to make money by selling people misinformation. You know, and it's upsetting and it's sad. So for people that are looking to get into this space, make sure you're truthful with your audience and you don't mislead them. Don't try to be smart like you've been in this industry 20 years, because what's going to happen is you may get away with it. Look at the kid who I had to do what I did to. You know what I'm saying? Look at him. There's people that are following that think he knows what he's talking about until I came along and exposed it. You know what I'm saying? And there's people that probably have bought into what he was saying. A lot of information he's giving is 100% absolutely wrong. He doesn't even know he said his state is the number one state for freight. And everybody knows that Florida is one of the worst states for freight. So, just be mindful, man. Just be mindful. And if you're a consumer, as far as consuming information, do your due diligence, man. Listen to people, compare and contrast. When I first came in, people were taking my content and taking it to one of these creators to validate if what I was saying was correct or not. And said content creator basically laughed. There's so much shit that I watched that I just let roll off my shoulders last year. You know what I'm saying? And I just said, all right, well, they'll see. And everything that I was talking about slowly started to come into fruition. You know what I'm saying? So if you're consuming content from creators, you need to be mindful of who you're consuming content from. And that's why I held the people accountable who are complaining about said content creators too, because you got to hold yourself accountable. Person, you bought something from somebody 2 years ago that started 2 years ago with you. Like, what do you think they gonna know? They started when you started. So what do you expect? That's shame on you. I'm not gonna go to a law firm and say, man, I just bonded out. My mama put up the house. I got an attempt murder, and they say, all right, you got two options. You can take attorney A, who just passed the bar last week, and you can hire her to fight the murder for you, or you could take attorney B, who's been practicing law for 30 years, and here's his track record of wins and losses. He has a 98% win rate. He's expensive, but 98%. So do I take the chance on a person who just literally passed the bar, right, with my life? Because if you're investing into a business and you're using your money that you earned or you've borrowed, that's like your life. That's your livelihood, I should say. Your livelihood is on the line. So if I find this case and I go into this law firm and they give me option A, which this attorney just passed the bar last week, so they don't have any cases under their belt that I can compare and contrast with. They're fresh out of law school, just passed the bar, versus attorney B, who has a 98% win rate, but is high as hell. I'm going with attorney B. Why? Because they have experience, years of experience. So how can you really, I feel what people, when people say they got taken advantage of, but then again, like, you did it to yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, if I'm going to call one side, I'm going to call the other. It is what it is. So on that note, I hope everybody got their questions answered. Shout out to everybody that came in. And shout out to that one hater that kept switching his name. You know what I'm saying? Get your weight up, not your hate up. I'm out.